Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have today a pocket folio that I made that was inspired by a reel I saw on Facebook, and I honestly don't even know whose reel it was. It was kind of a fast one-page wonder using a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. There were no measurements. So I thought, well, I'm gonna try it with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and the project just morphed from there. so this is what I came up with. I used Cara Creations Christmas Pallet Kit. She is on Etsy, and I will put the links in the description box. It's a beautiful, beautiful kit. It coordinates well with Tim Holtz Christmas palette fabric that just recently came out. So I'll do a little flip through and then we'll do a tutorial. So I used a little die cut from Sizzix, a little Christmas wreath, and put that on the front. So this first page just flips open. I used some of the ephemera from the Christmas palette kit, and also from some Ideology Tim Holtz Christmas kits that I had. And then on the top here, I have a little pocket for a tag. And then we've got some pockets here. I also used Cara Creations vintage Santa kits. Really pretty vintage Santas. So I added those. On the side, there's a little pocket, and I added little file folders. And more little pockets with some ephemera and kind of some journal cards. Another pocket from the top for a tag. This tag is in the Christmas palette kit. It actually prints out quite a bit larger in kind of a rounded shape. I used cut it into a tag shape with a die cut from Sizzix, and I printed this portrait instead of landscape so I could make the tags a little bit smaller to fit in this little pocket folio. And more little cute vintage Santas, some Tim Holtz paper dolls, another little file folder, more ephemera with some little tags, and another tag with a vintage Santa, another vintage Santa, more ephemera, another side pocket that I glued a tag or a mini folder on top of a mini folder, and then created a pocket in the top here. The way I glued it down. And another little folder, another piece of ephemera. I think this was the Christmas, like, Ideology. And another little pocket. I used the little Christmas, Tim Holtz Christmas sticker book. Another tag, added a little pocket too. And this was some of the Ideology, and this is just plastic. I didn't even use acetate. I used, you know how your scrapbook paper supplies come in these little cellophane bags, so I just used one of those. And another pocket here, and put a little bit larger file folder with some Santa journal cards and a Santagram. More ephemera. And that's our little folio. So you're only going to need 5 sheets of paper for this. Fairly easy, except the folding is not difficult. It's just, I can be directionally challenged sometimes. So I'm going to show you the measurements. I'm not going to bring my scoreboard out because I've scored these already. You can do a screen print to get these measurements, or I will put them in the description box. So the first paper is the only one that you're going to have to cut. And it's 7 3/4 by 3 1/4. And on the 7-inch side, we're just going to score at 3 7/8. I inked where I scored just so that hopefully you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Somewhere I have a bound folder. So that's your first sheet. And then the second sheet of paper is 8 1/2 by 11. And on the 11-inch side, you're going to score at 2 inches, 5 1/2, and 9 inches. And then you're going to turn your paper to the 8 1/2-inch side and score at 4 1/4. And you're going to cut the center line right to where this score line is. There's my bone folder. So I'm going to show you how to fold these. So you're just going to fold the centers in. You're going to fold, if this is the right side that you want on the outside, you're going to fold those down, and then one gets folded to the front and one gets folded to the back. And so on the inside, you have a pocket, 2 pockets here, you have your center pocket here, and then 2 pockets on the back. So you are going to want to cut just kind of like a little angled cut here for your pockets so that they don't interfere with that center score line. So you want to glue that down. And then this is where our side pocket's going to be. So we're just going to put glue along 2 sides, the left and the bottom. And so there you have your center side pocket. And then again, we want to cut a little angled piece out of that partial scored line. And then let's glue our pockets down. And then for your center pocket, I cut out a little notch out of mine. If you don't want a notch, you don't have to have a notch. And then I corner rounded for mine. I corner rounded. Now you don't have to corner round if you prefer. Oh, this is going to be a little, probably not work very well because this is like thin copy paper. I just wanted you guys to be able to see. But I corner rounded all the sides. So that's our second sheet. Here's our first, here's our second. So we're going to set those aside. And then we're going to bring in our third sheet. And again, 8 1/2 by 11. On the 11-inch side, we're going to score at 1 1/2 inch, 5 1/2 inches, and 9 1/2 inches. And then rotate this to the 8 1/2 inch side and score at 4 1/4 inches. And again, just cut that center piece right to the middle score line, and then fold in the sides. So the sides will be facing up towards you. And then we want to fold it down. So the pockets are facing out, but we're going to fold this left corner in front. so that our pockets are on the inside, and then the piece on the left to the back. Then again, we're just going to cut a little notch out and glue our pockets down. And then this is our side pocket, so we want to add glue to two sides here, so along the left side and along the bottom. And then again, we're going to cut a little angled piece for our pockets. And glue the pockets down. And let me show you the pattern paper for this one, so that you have more of a visual. So I want this red on the outside, and of course we want our pockets on the inside, right? So we're going to fold our pockets in. I cut that center line just to the middle score line, and fold your page down so that the side you want showing, or your pockets, like I should say, are facing outwards like this. And so then you're going to flip the first page in front and the back page behind you, or to the back. And so then you have a pocket here, your center, and another pocket. So you can, you know, you might want to pay attention to your directional paper. So that your pattern is not facing sideways, although some patterns it doesn't, you know, it looks okay. And you can see I rounded the corners on these already. And then we want to glue our side pocket. So just a little bit to the left of that score line. Really hard, I'm sure, for you to see with this red paper here. And then we want to cut a little angle here. And glue down our pockets. And then I'm going to put a notch in here, and I'm going to use a little bit bigger circle punch. This is a 2-inch circle punch. This one's a little bit harder for me to use. I'm not sure if it's just not sharp. There we go. I think, I don't know, I might sharpen it. I think if you cut it with, punch it with foiled paper, that then it kind of sharpens up those circle punches. I might try that. So just so you have a visual. So this is our page number 1, page number 2, You can see how it's starting to form here. So now sheet number 4, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper again, and just score at 1 inch, 5.5 inches, 10 inches, then turn to the side to the 8.5 by 5 inch side and score at 4 1/4. And again, we're just going to cut the center line right up to that middle score line. And then fold in our sides. And fold in half. Fold in half this way. So again, the way you fold it is just fold it down so that your pockets are facing outwards. And then the page to the left and front is going to fold over to the right, and the page in back is going to fold behind to the right. So then we have a pocket. First pocket inside, and cut your little angled notch, and then glue your pockets down. And then our side pocket, just glue along those 2 sides. And then cut another little notch here. And glue those pockets down. And I think I already folded our pattern paper. I did, but I will show you. This is probably the most confusing part, probably more for me, just because I feel like I'm directionally challenged sometimes. I've rounded the corners already for this. We've got the center cut. We're folding in the pockets. And so fold down so your pockets are facing out, and the sheet to the left you want to fold in front, and the behind fold, or the second sheet I guess, fold behind. So we can cut these little notches and glue down our pockets. And you can see the pockets get smaller and smaller as your sheet gets bigger and bigger. That's just to give that staggered look. I like the staggered look. And then for our side pocket, we just want to add glue to the left side, to the bottom. Glue that down, kind of burnish it so it sticks. There's your side pocket. And then we want to cut, excuse me, a little notch here. Just right up to the score line. Just angled a little bit so it doesn't get caught on your score line. And glue our pockets down again. And then I'm going to cut a notch in the side here. Eyeball that, line it up. So now we got our center pocket there. And so then that's the next sheet. And then the last sheet is, again, 8.5 by 11. This is your 5th sheet. And we're just going to score it on in half on each side. So on the 11-inch side, we're going to score at 5.5, and then turn it to the 8.5-inch side, and then score at 4.25. And all we're going to do for this one is just cut that center line. And we don't have pockets on this one, so we're just going to fold one up, one back, and then turn it to the side so that you have one sheet here. You still have your side pocket, and then one sheet here. So you will glue down on 2 sides to form your side pocket. And I'll show you with the pattern paper. I didn't glue this down yet. So I just cut it in the center. And then whichever paper you want in front, you know, depends on how you want to fold it. I want the red paper in the front. So we're just flipping the bottoms up and then flipping down. And so you got a page here, a side pocket here, page here, page here. So let's glue our side pocket down. Okay, and I'm going to put another notch. Kind of eyeball the center. On. I think my punch is crooked or bent or something. It is kind of bent down in there. Maybe that's why. That could be why. All right, that's not gonna punch. It is done. So I'll just kind of cut. Hopefully it didn't. I did. I kind of got that back page there, but you can kind of see the outline a little bit. Very bad notch. Straighten this up some. And so that's our 5th page. So then what you're going to do is we're just going to glue these one right on top of the other, but we're going to make pockets out of them. So this is the last piece. Make sure you have it on the right side that you want. I'm going to just take my stack upside down here, and I want to create a pocket in the top. So I'm just going to glue. Sure, those are my pockets. On this left-hand side and down at the bottom. And then I'm just going to line it up to the previous sheet, right to the side and to the bottom. I'm just going to burnish that down a little bit. And then the next sheet, next little folio. I always have to make sure I have it on the right side so I don't accidentally glue it wrong. So again, same thing. Just glue along the left side and the bottom. No, I'm sorry. We're making a top pocket, so we need to glue all the way up. And did I do that here? No. You could just glue it on the two sides if you wanted another side pocket, but I just want a pocket on the top. So then just line this up again. And the next sheet, go here. Again, glue on 3 sides, not 2 this time. So just a U shape to the left, to the bottom, round to the right, and just leave the top glue free. Line those up again. So I didn't corner around one of those. Just a sample piece. And then this final sheet, the top, now on mine, instead of gluing it all the way over to the right, I kind of centered it a little bit. That was just so that, because I wanted to see a little bit of this green. So top pocket again. And let's just center this on the page. So there you have it, one flip. There's the next one with pockets, side pocket, another side pocket, these pockets, pockets at the bottom, pockets at the bottom, side pocket. And then, well, the last two don't have pockets. Now, you know, I suppose you could do a larger sheet if you wanted, but I didn't want pockets there. And you know, you can leave it just like this, your spine just like that, or you can, I just took a piece of fabric, Tim Holtz fabric, and I frayed the edges a little bit, and that's what I glued along my spine. And then you've got a pocket here, a pocket here. So I'm missing one. Pocket here. And a pocket back here. And that's it, friends. Really easy project, fast, easy project. And then the fun part is just decorating it. You can put gift cards in here if you want, or you know, whatever you want to put in here. It's just a fun little project to make. I did make a 12 by 12, and I'll just show you what it looks like. If you would like me to do a tutorial on the 12 by 12, which would be a one-page wonder, let me know. It doesn't have all these different pieces. This was the first one I made. It was a 12-page wonder, and I was just kind of guessing at where the score lines were. But it is. I think it's really cute. I used wallpaper from Simple Stories, and you know, you've got a pocket here. This would be like a neat little mini folio to put some little photos in. And then you've got one side pocket. I made a little tag. Flip the page, another pocket. Usually put 2 little cards in there. But they're big enough that really you could, you know, put some photos in there. I think the 12 by 12 is cute. So if you would like a tutorial on the 12 by 12, let me know. Be happy to do that. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. And I hope you have a good day, and tag me on Instagram at DailyDoseofHoppiness if you try this project. Thank you and have a great day.